Hey everyone, welcome to our winter camping adventure. Today we are braving the cold and spending the night out in the snow with my teenagers. We've got military surplus shelters, sleeping bags, and a whole lot of layers. But the real challenge, surviving the freezing temperatures, building relational fitness while we're out there. Stick around to see if we can keep warm, have some fun, and maybe even enjoy a hot breakfast in the morning. Let's see how we handle it. Welcome back and welcome to our camping spot for the night. As you can see, we're setting up half shelters here, and what they are is a military surplus half shelter. You can zip them together into one large pup tent, or you can do what we're doing here, and you can use posts or sticks, and you can set them up in whatever configuration that you want. We've got two here that are kind of in more of a V shape, and then one sitting by itself as a single. So they're really configurable, they're really cheap, and they give you an amazing little shelter in the snow without much hassle at all. Now, when you think about winter camping, you probably think about staying warm and fighting the elements, but there's a lot more going on. First of all, I choose to do this with my teenagers. So that's a whole thing in itself. You're spending time in the cold, you're isolated in the wilderness and primarily in the dark in the winter, which helps build strong connections with each other. So there's the teamwork. When it's freezing out, everyone needs to pull together, setting up camp, collecting firewood, and making sure each person is staying warm requires communication, trust, and a sense of shared responsibility. Just getting it ready for our sleep systems, and then we're going to have a fire tonight and some hot drinks and a little snack before bed. But it's just a really fun time with teenagers. What could be better? So there is skills building and there's problem solving, because you're faced with all kinds of challenges out there that you're not really faced with in regular life when you can just go flick on the furnace and get warmer. So how do you cook in the cold? How do you build a fire? How do you keep warm? How do you keep morale high when things feel cold or tough? This encourages real collaboration with each other and bonding as a family. And you can see here that it's not even me teaching my youngest daughter how to baton this wood. It's actually my other son. And so I've taught him, and he is teaching her how to do this. And it's quite exciting to see that progression, as I didn't have to say anything. He just coached her right through it, and she got better and better as the night went on. And you're going to see them lighting the fire eventually. On top of the teaching, let's not forget about the quiet moments. Being out in nature, out in the creation, without the distractions of phones and technology, it gives us a chance to talk and really listen and reconnect. It's in those moments that we build deeper emotional bonds, we share personal thoughts, and just enjoy each other's company without any interruptions. There we go. That's easy right there. Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good. Finally, the shared experience of pushing through the cold together creates a sense of accomplishment and pride. There's nothing like looking back the next morning at a cold, challenging night spent together and knowing that you made it through as a team and that they did it. That sense of we did it sticks with you and strengthens your family's connection in ways that go beyond just surviving the night. It's about thriving together. The fire starter my son is using here is a homemade one. It's made from cardboard egg carton, dryer lint, and old candle wax. Have you ever made a fire starter like this for yourself before? Let me know in the comments what you have used in the past. Having a nice fire is your best friend when you are out with your teens, because if you stay warm and everyone feels good, you're going to have a great time. So building a good fire and having them involved in the process is part of that. Here they are setting up their beds for the night. They've got meal surplus sleeping bags that they are just getting ready and fluffing out as we sit around the fire, and we're going to have a really good night. You can see the stars are out. It's fully clear. You can see so many more than the phone picked up. And that's really the critical thing, is just being out in creation with your teenagers, and everything else kind of falls in place. You do have to have warm sleeping bags in the winter, so that's why I went with these military surplus bags. They are down bags that pack really tight, but when they fluff up, they are quite warm. So you can do well down into about the -10 territory in Celsius. So they're pretty good. So now that everything is basically set up for sleeping, it's just time to get around the fire and have fun tonight. So we've got the stoves going with hot water, and we're going to enjoy some hot drinks in a minute. These are both the BRS 3000 T stoves. Both my son and I run those, and he's just making some water for both him and his sister, and I've got some water in mine for myself, and we're going to have some amazing drinks around the fire. And I'll just reiterate this point one more time, as you can see it right in front of you. You'd be amazed how much just making some hot water together, making a meal or a drink when you're out in the cold. So not only between my teenagers and myself, but also between themselves. They're building those relationships that hopefully will last a lifetime. So there's a lot of satisfaction that comes in with the work of doing these things. Just putting in that little extra effort, sharing, or just caring about each other, making something warm when the temperature is freezing. Ah, good drinks. The warm drinks are done, and now it is time to get in our sleeping bags and go to sleep. Now, I know what you might be thinking. What is breakfast going to look like when you're out in the snow, freezing your fingers off? Well, I've got some freeze-dried meals with us, and believe it or not, prepping those meals is a pretty big part of building relational fitness as a family. First off, food preparation in the wilderness requires cooperation. With limited space, resources, and sometimes your fingers being numb, it's all about getting the job done together. Everyone has a role. One person boils the water, someone else opens pouches, and another person gets the cups and spoons ready. Even when it's freezing, each small task contributes to the success of the meal, and this teamwork builds camaraderie.
Well, good morning. Made it through the night, and we're just getting ready to have some breakfast. Got my warm drink, and here we go.
And let's not forget moments of humor. Things aren't always perfect in this situation. You might spill water. You might spill food. Food might not be quite right, or someone might accidentally boil over the water. But it's these little imperfections that create shared memories. Laughter, problem solving bring the family closer together. So here's what we brought it is an oatmeal mix with freeze dried raspberries in this case and freeze dried apples in the other. We're going to get ready to cook. Eating together, especially after a day or night of braving the cold, helps reinforce the sense that we are together in this. There's something powerful about sharing a meal outdoors with everyone gathering around and appreciating what they've worked for. It's a chance to pause, enjoy each other's company, and connect on a deeper level. In a way, these moments where everyone sits down, warms up, and eats as a group symbolize the strength of your relationship, that you've all faced challenges together, and now you're enjoying the rewards of teamwork and persistence. So, whether it's a hot breakfast or a simple freeze dried dinner, the food might be easy to prepare, but the memories and connections we create while sharing it are anything but simple. That's what makes moments like these so valuable. They're not just about survival, but about strengthening our bond as a family. And by the way, there is a link to the freeze dried foods I use in the description below. Check it out if you'd like to know more about quality foods to fuel your family adventures. Also, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you ever gone winter camping? What's your top survival tip for staying warm out there in the snow? Drop your thoughts below and let's chat. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you on the next adventure.